So, how did you end up on My Expert Opinion?
Math invited me down as a guest. I was a guest the first time I was there. It was me, Amir, and Arsonist Heatmakers, and we had me and Arsonist had this big argument, which we always do. Me and him debate all the time. I think it's because he boxes and I fight, so sparring is just what we do, whether it's verbal or physical.
Right.
And we had this big ass argument, and not a foul argument. Like,
right.
That's the other thing. There's the ability to have competition without malice. Right, and he and I both understand that. He's competitive as crazy. Arsonist I'm talking about, he's wild competitive. I'm wild competitive, but there's no malice in it. We're not hateful towards the other person. We just want to prove that we're as good or better, and then they can come back and do the same thing. So with that said, he didn't want to lose the argument. I didn't want to lose the argument. He thought he was right. I thought I was right. I was actually right. Right. And then we went back and forth. I said that. I was actually right. Me and him went back and forth a bunch, and it made for a great watching. And I liked the idea that two black men can argue with each other on camera and dap each other and genuinely like respect and fuck with each other afterwards after a big argument. I really liked that. I dug that we were showing this, because for a while it felt like all we were seeing on camera was people crashing out when they disagree. Right. And here we are disagreeing, and afterwards, that's my man. Like that's my man. I did a forward style interview for the album that him and Joel Ortiz did, showing you how cool we are, right? But that first argument wasn't even our first argument. It was the first one we had like on camera, and it was dope. And Math saw that, I'm guessing, and asked me to come back again. And I can't remember who I think my next episode was with Q-Tip. You think what I'm saying? Right. And me and him went back and forth, but not in a argumentative way, but he was telling me a couple of things, and I was telling him a few things from like the business perspective. And, we had some revelations on the show. And I guess after a couple of those, Math was like, yo, listen, why don't you make this a regular thing? Because, it was a couple of times I couldn't make it because I had paid obligations. So once we decided on numbers, it was up. And we kept doing like really, really cool, dope shit.
Right. Who were some of the co-hosts that left that you were upset about?
Esso Hynaken. You know what? Let me keep it a buck with you. I upset might be the wrong word, but I thought
you was tight.
Even that's the wrong word. I felt it was unnecessary. I never saw anything happen that was so bad that these guys had to leave, or we couldn't have worked it out or figured it out. Me, Esso Hynaken, Math, Space Ghost, Bigger, like we did a lot of magic moments. You know what I mean? We had a lot of great moments together. Champ, we had great moments. You know what I mean? Like the things that when it was Champ, Bigger, myself, and Math, we had great moments. And I never felt that anything happened so terrible that we had to stop having these great moments. You dig? It didn't seem that bad to me. There are 4 unforgivables as far as I'm concerned. And shout out to my pop from him. If nobody violated somebody's kids, violated somebody's wife, sent somebody to jail, or took somebody's life. Those are the 4 unforgivables where you just can't make amends and you can't make peace. If it's not one of them 4 things, we can figure it out. It ain't that serious. It ain't that deep. We can figure something out. And none of those things ever happen. You know what I mean? Between the other co-host and the show, none of those things happened. So my feeling wasn't, I wasn't tight. I wasn't angry. I wasn't upset. I was a little frustrated because I felt like this was unnecessary. I thought we were upsetting the apple cart unnecessarily. We can really keep this going. It's not that serious. We can all get over this, the thing we're disagreeing on right now, and get back to work. Right. That was my main feeling.
Did you ever have a moment where you almost left?
I think some of that MAGA talk got me close.
Okay.
I think like when it seemed like the whole shop was riding for Donald Trump, I think that was one thing was like, because we on two different pages on principle. Like, you can like who you like, but we on, like, principle, morally speaking, I felt like we were on, like, a couple of different pages. It seemed a little crazy to me that you could ride that hard for that guy. Like, even if you were indifferent, but, like, to be pro-Trump, it felt a little nuts. But then again, none of the four unforgivables. We just having a disagreement. And if I'm not, why would I leave because of my principles? You know what I mean? Like, why would I let me believing this be the thing that pushes me out the door when my overall principle is that we all black men and women, we all in this together. If I just bounce, it's like it almost feels like I just gave up. And I'm not pussy. I don't give up. I put it down and walk, but I'm giving up just isn't it's not in my nature to retreat. Right. I guess, or like be talked out of it. So I didn't want to be the guy who left. And now it's a full MAGA show. Like, if I'm really strong on my principles, I should be able to stand here and listen to all this bullshit and respond to all the bullshit with my own bullshit, and let's see who bullshit is better.
Right. So when does if my expert opinion was still going on today, when does a BagFuel interview happen?
I don't know if it ever would. Because it would take. And I'm answering for me. It would take more than I can give to get it to happen. I tried a couple of times. I tried when the relationship first fractured, and I tried to pull it all together then, and it didn't work. Math decided he didn't want to come. So that we set up the dinner. Everybody knows Math said he didn't want to go. And if I couldn't do it then, I kind of not washed my hands of it, but okay, I gave it a shot. It's not gonna happen. I've made peace with the idea that it's not gonna happen. Now, I think it would have been great. I think it would have been awesome. I think it would have been great if we could have pulled it back together. Right. You know what I mean? And figured out another show with the original member, with that cast on it, not original, because the original cast is Knowledge and Misfit. Shout out to them. Yeah, that's the original. Sure. I think they get overlooked a lot with all this stuff happening. People keep thinking that we were the first cast, and I keep trying to remind them it's not. We stood on the shoulders of Knowledge and Misfit. They were there in the very beginning, from what I give it up to them. I give it up to them. But like, as far as that interview happening, I'm not sure, because there's still a lot of underlying issues that have yet to be addressed, and there's a lot of conflicting stories, and I can't tell you that they would ever sit down. And I don't know that they want to. Right. I don't know that they want to.
This is your first BagFuel interview.
Yes.
Right? So then, how come you haven't been on BagFuel before?
It wasn't time.
Okay.
It wasn't time. They didn't need. Well, first of all, they don't need me. That's number one. They don't need me. Esso Hynaken been Esso Hynaken since Esso Hynaken been Esso Hynaken. Right. Them niggas don't need nobody. They're good with what they're doing. They're great. Right. It wasn't time. I didn't have much to talk about. If I was going to talk about it, I would talk about it on my expert opinion. Right. I didn't have nothing to talk about. But it was time. It was just, we've always been cool. I'm not beefing with anybody. I see Esso and Hynaken now, we dap it up. We chop it up for however long we have, and we keep it moving, because they always have an agenda and I have one. But I've seen Esso at like events for Buster. I've seen Esso and Hynaken at the Shine biopic, his documentary that was on Anscape. It was fire. And me and Gap bumped into Esso and Hynaken, took pictures, flicked it up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have those issues. Right. So for me, it was just time, and I have time, and I have something to promote. I have, Busta's album coming out. I have a couple of other things that I'm warming up to. Shout out to Hood IQ, a tech company that I'm really excited about. I can't wait for them to get started and show y'all exactly what that's about. But I don't want to go up there and just bump my gums. Plus, I don't want to go up there and slander. I'm not about slander.
Right.
I'm sorry, are we doing too much?
No, we good. We good. So this is where we're at, man. Last two questions that we ask every guest. Message to your younger self.
Trust yourself to do it. Trust yourself to do it. The win you want is on the other side of the L you're afraid to take. Trust yourself to do it. You're way more capable, and it's not selfish to want your own thing. It's not greedy to want to succeed. You don't have to you shouldn't trust somebody else with your dream. You have to go get it. And it's got to be you. It's got to be you.
Right. Message to the youth.
Same thing.
Love that. Same message applies.
The win you want is on the other side of the L you're afraid to take. Self-respect is more important than the respect of strangers. The internet is not a real place. Real life happens when you put your phone down. You can't follow people who don't know where the fuck they're going and don't care where they end up. And everything ain't for everybody, and that's okay.
That's okay. I say that all the time. Listen, any websites, Instagram, where we find you?
All of my stuff is on the exact same, is under the exact same name. It's Mr. Mec, MRMECC. My YouTube channel where I'm putting all my updates and my new content, stuff that I'm working on. Be on the lookout for Hood IQ. Really important. I can't wait to show y'all that. I cannot wait. Hood, I'm super excited. I can't wait for y'all to see that. Busta Rhymes' new project, Dragon Season. We just moved the date, but we moved the date because something really big is happening on that project. So it's like super dope. I want y'all to see that. Equinox is already out. The Awakening is already out. Shout out to the whole conglomerate. Oh, the features. When this next album drops, I'll come back up and talk about it. You will want me to come back up when you hear there's a specific song that you're gonna hear. And when you hear it, you're going to call my phone and go, yo, why ain't you tell me? Right. Now, just remember I said that here. And I think this is the first place I said that. All right. If I'm not mistaken. Just remember, it's on camera. I'm on the record now. Like, you're going to hit me and go, why didn't you say something?
We're looking forward to it, man. As always, man, I thank you for your time, presence, and energy. It really means a lot. For those out there, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. It's getting warm outside. Stay safe, drink water, and mind your business, and get home at a good time. You be all right. Be out.
I'm doing all those things.
Right.
That whole rundown, I'm doing all that. That was incredible. That was like the most sound advice. I'm doing all that. As we speak, I'm drinking water and minding my business.